Welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and this is where I usually say I'm the author of The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, and this is where I show you recipes for healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. But today's recipe, while very healthy, is not necessarily so favorable for weight loss. So why am I doing it on Weight Loss Wednesday? Because very soon we have, in my opinion, the most dangerous holiday of the year coming up. No, it's not Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's or Easter or Valentine's Day. It's Halloween. You know, I've been helping people achieve vibrant health in their ideal weight for almost 20 years now, the past 10 focusing on weight loss specifically and food addiction. And I gotta tell you, I have seen more people have a tiny slip on Halloween from a fun-sized Snicker that turned into a major relapse that had gotten them completely off track. Some never recovered, to be quite honest. And so I understand that most people aren't going to dessert. So if you're going to eat dessert, I want it to be as healthy as possible. Sweetened with the fruit, the whole fruit, and nothing but the whole fruit. So today I'm going to show you how to make my famous caramel apples. I'm going to be using the recipe for date paste on page 60 of my book, Unprocessed. But feel free to use any date paste recipe you like, although make sure it doesn't have sugar, because believe it or not, I have seen date syrups and date pastes that add sugar. You don't need to. Dates are naturally sweet. They're nature's candy. I'm using pitted Deglet Nor dates because these are the most cost effective for the amount of dates that I use. I get these at my Costco, and they're very affordable and they're very delicious, and I love that they're pitted. It saves me some time. And so I have soaked my dates in water for several hours. Now, if you're in a hurry, you could use boiling water, because what you want is you want the dates to get really soft and plump. Now, you don't want to ever throw away the soak water from the dates, because that's where all the sugar is. As a matter of fact, that water can be used to sweeten beverages such as herbal teas if you like. So you can actually soak the dates in anything. Well, not anything. I wouldn't soak it in vodka, of course, but any liquid. So you could use non-dairy unsweetened plant milk. You could use unsweetened orange juice or unsweetened cherry juice or unsweetened pomegranate juice. This will, of course, flavor the date paste, but I'm going to show you some easier ways to flavor the date paste. So after the water is mostly absorbed, I am going to put it in my food processor fitted with the S-blade. Now that was a pound of dates. Depending on the size of your food processor, I really don't recommend making more than a pound of date paste at a time. Excuse me, I don't recommend making less than a pound at a time. I've made as much as 3 pounds in here. Each pound of date paste with my recipe makes about 2.5 cups of date paste. If you do too few dates, it's not going to catch the blade. It's not going to process. So you need a food processor fitted with the S-blade. This is best done, in my opinion, in a food processor, not in a high-powered blender. And we're just going to process. And I need to get my little spatula. And then I can stir it around, and you can see we have this thick, luscious, delicious paste that can be used in all kinds of recipes for baking. Now, of course, this won't dissolve in liquids, so you can't use this instead of, you know, like a liquid sweetener. So I always have date paste on hand. This is some that I made this weekend during the cooking class, showing the caramel apples. Once it chills, it gets really, really firm. You can see, you can put it on top of your head, it won't fall off. So this will set on the apple. But until then, it's not going to be quite as firm, which is actually good for dipping. Now, this is a dip by itself. This is a caramel dip. You could actually just put this out with some delicious cut up apple slices and have people dip. It's great. Now, if you watch me at all, you probably have seen this trick, but let me just show you. It's sometimes difficult to get the last bit off of the blade. So all you do is you put the food processor down, pulse it for about a second, and with centrifugal force, the blade is now completely clean, which is great because look at all this wonderful date paste we would have wasted if we hadn't done that little trick. Now, if you want to flavor your date paste really decadently, like with peanut butter and chocolate, use the recipe on page 170 of Unprocessed, and you can add peanut butter and cocoa powder to this. But this is already decadent enough. And as you can see, I am wearing my Don't Even Think About It shirt with Dr. Goldhammer on it. See if you can get a close-up of these earrings, Charles. If you like this swag, it's in my Cafe Press store. I'll provide a link to it. But since this is the pre-Halloween episode, I just wanted to admonish you or give you a warning that this stuff may not be suitable for everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm working on this beautiful cutting board from the Holland Bowl Mill. Mine is engraved with, if you're not hungry enough to eat vegetables, you're not hungry. And I can give you a link for these beautiful Holland Mill products as well. I'm going to be using green apples because date paste is so sweet. You know, dates have about 70% sugar. It's natural sugar, and of course there's fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and antioxidants and micronutrients, but it's still, they're pretty sweet, and some varieties of dates like Medjool are even sweeter. So therefore, to balance that, I'm going to be using the green apple. And plus, green apple is traditional with, you know, caramel apples. I remember when I was a sugar addict, which was, you know, the first 43 years of my life, I used to go to Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Arrowhead and Big Bear and in Ventura County and get these monster apples that were like $6 with caramel and white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Well, these are as good, or well, almost as good. So what I want to do is I take my green apple. One of my favorite songs, by the way. I actually knew him personally. I studied with him, the Reverend O.C. Smith, who sang the song, God Didn't Make Little Green Apples. And I look for which side is going to be best. So this side is not going to roll. So I take my little stick, which you can get at Michael's. I've seen them at Walmart. They're definitely available online. And I stick my stick in. There we go. And actually, I'll do a few at a time. So again, look, did your moms ever tell you to take the little stem of the apple and twist it A, B, C, D, E, and when it broke off, you were supposedly marrying a guy with that name, E. Sorry, Charles, I guess I have to go with Edward or Edgar. So you push it in, and again, find the side that rolls the least, and it usually is this way. Now, traditionally, caramel apples, you could also use a hammer if it's a really stubborn apple and you can't get it in, or that's what your cutting board's for. And then these little papers, of course, you can get at any cake decorating store. Even Michael's has them. It just looks a little prettier when it sits, in my opinion, on a paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our date paste, but we have to roll it in something. The reason is because this isn't really candy. It's not going to harden. If we don't roll it in something, it's going to be very sticky. What you roll it in will depend on what you like. What I'm going to be using today is unsweetened, shredded, flaked coconut and raw chopped pistachios. Now, of course, these are high fat. That's why I don't recommend them for weight loss, but it's a lot better than some of the crap that people eat on Halloween, and these are certainly wonderful treats for kids. People will not know that they contain no refined sugar, that they're just from fruit. Sometimes people like to roll them in cacao nibs. I just didn't have enough. Sometimes people like to mix the toppings, sort of like the everything bagel, if you will. Chopped unsalted peanuts would work, so whatever you like. I forgot to tell you though, there's other ways to sweeten date paste without adding peanut butter and chocolate. You can use some of the wonderful fruity vinegars from California balsamic vinegar, and you only need a tablespoon or two. Some of the flavors that I've done to make date paste different flavors depending on what I was doing was the pear, the blackberry, the strawberry, the raspberry, the cherry, the coconut. They even have an apple flavor that would bump up the flavor of the apple. So those are a fun way to do that. You can just put it in the food processor while it's twirling. So now this is where you get the kids involved and you can have a lot of fun. You just start rolling the apple in the date paste. And you want to get quite a bit of it on there to stick. Where's my spatula? Yeah, you want to get it all the way covered as much as you can. That's a lot of date paste. You know what's really good is if you do pecans and coconut, then it's like a German chocolate apple. So I don't really need it to go all the way at the top because traditionally apples don't go all the way in the top. And so then I roll it in my topping. These are so beautiful. And they're so delicious. As I said, I made this in a cooking class this weekend for people that don't eat the way I eat. Not only are they not SOFAS free, but they're not even vegan. And they just couldn't believe how everything tasted so good without sugar. So that's our first one. And then we'll put it in the little paper and then move it to the tray. And then let's make another one with the pistachios. And again, yeah, pecan and coconut is amazing. You think you're eating German chocolate cake. And it's been probably gosh, 10 years since I had chocolate, but I do remember making these with the chocolate fondue on page 170 of Unprocessed, and then rolling them in peanuts. I thought I'd die and go to heaven. There we go. Hey, if you're not on my mailing list, my website is Chef AJ website or eatunprocessed.com. They'll both take you to the same place. I'm going to be coming up with a cookbook soon, a new book called A Date with Dessert, which are all the date sweetened recipes that I used when I was the pastry chef at Sante on La Brea. And we're going to have special bonuses for people on my mailing list. So make sure that you are signed up. I want to show you a new cake that I actually just made today for a friend's birthday. So again, we roll it around. You can use your hands because I'm eating this, and then we can push it up. I mean, it's like, you know, you can move the date paste. It's not fragile or anything. Then you can use your hands. You could use food service gloves. And actually, I like the look of this one. I sometimes do this where I leave the side open. It's just sort of a look. And then I put it over here. Now I just want to show you my latest creation. And Bailey wants to show you something. So this is one of my newest cakes. If you want to get this recipe when it's out, make sure you're on my mailing list because that's the only way you're going to see it. But you can make amazing things. And this one doesn't even have dates. This is just all fruit. I want you to make sure to have a safe Halloween. You don't need to give the kids candy. Bailey's being a wiener dog for Halloween, in case you wondered. So thank you so much for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I truly believe you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve. Take care. Say goodbye, Bailey.